Welcome back to Stationeers. I'm Rob, and in today's episode we are back on Mars in our testing facility. Right here. So I've made this setup here for testing purposes. Here we have our two robots, our AIMEes. Both of them are happy, as you can see. Both of them have a battery, a wireless batteries, because why not? I am on a testing and creative mode, so I can do whatever I want on here by putting everything in it. Now, this one works. The green one you see there doesn't. Now, this tower controls the red one. I have a lever that I can turn on and off so it doesn't go out. I have a power indicator showing the battery of it. I have a mode showing what mode is in, and I have a translation guide here showing what each number will show, so what they actually do. Then I have a OR in vicinity. That is maybe not that beneficial, but it's there. Then I have the alarm code, which is something I've made, not something come from the robot, just showing what actually each state means. So 1 is that it's off, because this one's off, up. 2, the battery here is low. 3, bad weather. And 4, area is empty. And 5 is lost. And that means basically that it's out there somewhere in the system. Up top we have the 3 positions it has, and that is the last red position. So if it is lost, we'll still have where it is actually located out there somewhere, which is good. Up top we have a weather station, which has 3 modes, but we'll get back to those. But it tells us if it should be storm or not. Sorry. Here I have a transmitter, and here I have an IC chip, and yeah, this is what controls it. Then it comes to this chute and unload and goes into this lovely tank, and then you can take it and go to do whatever. I have a computer. I have my new states for the green one. So before we get going, let's take the red one out and let's get it cracking on somewhere. So now the red one is out there somewhere mining, and you can see here battery power is going down. It's moving slowly, so it is updating, and you can see actually the current location of it. And yeah, they just have their own life out there. There's no alarm, that's good. And I will set up the installation for the next one, and then I can show you what everything is, and we'll get to it. So here we have what we actually need, more or less. Well, not more or less, actually what we need. We have the signs. We have the LEDs, we have the LED light, we have the switch all cabled up, nothing is labeled or anything, not yet at least. Here you have the transmitter, and we have the IC housing. I've decided to make these 2 green because it's easier for us to see what they're for. For some reason this one does not sit next to this one no matter how I turn it, because the power will always go towards this one and then it just gets red. So yeah, it looks like this, annoying. Okay, so next thing, let's start labeling stuff. So it's a green robot, it's a green transmitter, so green robot, and the green we can just take with us. So this one we call AIMEe red, we're gonna take that and call this one green. So yeah, now all these are named red, red, red LED, red LED, red LED, and that's because of the code. As you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 going to one IC housing. That's because we're using the batch and the hash name. So actually all these, if you look at this one, you have the weather station, which is up top. You have nothing there. You have nothing there. Here you have the LED light. Here you have the on-off switch, and here you have the robot, which is the transmitter. The rest we read through the hash values. So first let's name everything. So green, let's make it green. Green. LED X. Let's cover that. Then Y. Z. what's that? Then just make that green. And that is alarm code. Alarm, yes. And the only reason why I'm naming all this is because I'm on the same setup as the other system. If you had a transformer or APC between each of these, then you didn't have to do this. I don't have that, and I don't really see a need for it. So I do this way. It's also relatively easy. And the last one, oh, that should be red.
Filter low.
Now that'll go in error, of course. Oh. Turn off. Now it's in error here because I just changed that. Where is it? Nope, it's changed. Lovely. Okay, so green robot. We want. Are you named? Your name AIMEe Green. Nice. So we wanna set. We want to turn on. And where is that thing? There. Take a screwdriver and turn off again. Take a screwdriver and find AIMEe Green. This one we cannot see that part, so it can only see out basically. Turn on. So now we have a communication. Okay, so this one is named, that was named. We just need to set all the aliases on this one, and then we can start coding. So let's do that first. So I've chosen AIMEe Green, which is the IC housing. So let's click edit. Before we do anything, when you're in here, this one pauses the game, so you don't run out of food or drinks or battery or anything like that. So let's first do the first thing, which is alias, and the last thing, which is station. Now, robot is the transmitter, switch is the turn off switch, status light is the actual LED light, which you just call LED for now at least, and the station is the weather station. So, and I have them. Lovely. So I've taken the liberty of setting up the devices off camera because it takes a little bit of time. But anyway, green robot, green on off switch, green LED, weather station, nothing. Turn it on. Oh, hello there. Yes, that's correct. Let's remove the screwdriver and let's get into a little robot. So we've done the first part. So let's get all the aliases. Now, when this video uploads to YouTube, there'll be the entire code will also be available both on Reddit and on SteamWork. And so it's all be there, but now at least you can see how I do it and why. So first, our aliases. So alias 1, or alias 0, basically. Temporary, which is temp, which is just a holder for some numbers later on. Then we have alias current mode. So keep in mind, as you can see, when I'm writing down the aliases, the first one will be big. First letter will be small, and then from there it will be big. Because if you go into variables, they are all the time big. So you can actually have a same variable called occupied, just with small instead of big, and then it's easy to remember. We're going to do alias again. Oh, I want to do alias. I want to get rid of that, and then current. We're going to take that. We're going to have a few of those. Current, pose for position, X, and then R2. Same thing again. Pose, Y, R3, and pose, Z, R4, charge ratio. And the charge ratio is for the battery, which we'll be using in controlling if the battery is running low. Now, the next one will be I should probably copy this one instead. Copy that. home, which is basically the holder. So 6. Another one. Alarm code R7. That is not R7. R7. And another one, the last one. Or in area R8. So the mode is the actual mode of the robot. The current position is where it is currently located. To remember it or not to use for display. Current charge ratio is for the battery. Come home is if we need to come home for a certain reason. Battery is low, weather is bad, so on and so on. Alarm code is for us to see it on our LED, and or an area is to keep a track on if there's some ore in the area it's working. Okay, next thing, let's define things. So let's first define our LED, and we are doing the defining of this one. We are doing the defining of this one, and to do that, we go in here. Small LED, this one. We're taking this prefab hash, so -815. If you just click on it, it says copy to clipboard. You can close that, you can go back in here, pause the game again, and Control V. And there you have the number. Now, this is for all the small LEDs you have, so we can use that for several times. Next thing, we're going to define home, pose X, and we're going to copy this 3 times. Now we're going to have it 3 times in total. For Y, and Z. For now, we just write 0, 0, and 0. Oh, idiot. If I can spell that correctly, that's fine. So this, as you probably can see, is where our home position for the robot will be. For now, it'll be 0 and 0 and 0. And then when you are starting up, you can go out and see where you need it to be. Next thing, we're going to do a new define. Minimum charge. And we're going to call this, let's say, 0.150. So it's basically 115% left. You can put it at 300. It depends on where you put it at. And then when this one is minimum, then the robot will return. Next thing, before we get into the actual coding part, we want to set our light on. Set. And status light. Copy that. On 1. And just for good reference, we want to set robot, and then the mode to 0. So that one's off. Export. It's on. Lovely. That's great. So the reason why, let's just copy this. I know it's not technically necessary because you have them over there, but I like them to have them there. I leave this on because it's never supposed to be off. Green is good, and then we have yellow and red. And he is roaming out there. He has plenty of power left, that's good. So let's get into the actual code. Pause the script. Now, first thing first, we're going to do a start, which is, the start of the actual functionality of this stuff. We want to do a set, so robot, mode, and then 3. Now 3, if you go in here, yeah, there we are. Here we have all the robot modes, so 0, do nothing, 1, follow, and we just set it to 3. 3, it'll wander around for hours in a radius of 5 coords radius, 15, sorry. And this is what we're doing, so we can actually mine. That's what she's doing over there, if you can see here, Right, my dot is, yeah. Now, so now we are set to mode 3. The next thing we want to do is a new function. So robot is roaming, that, and we want to keep doing a roaming until we're full. Or maybe if we go home, but that will just ignore that part for now. We're going to do a load, and we're going to current mode, and we're going to take robot, and we're going to take mode. So what we do this is we check the mode, the level of the robot. So the first thing we do is brand equal to 0. If you go in here, Q set, there we are. If brand is equal to set, then we're gonna jump to the location. See, now I fucked everything up here. So Q set, and we want to do the mode. So if the mode is equal to 0, which is not supposed to be equal to 0, then we go back to start. We basically reboot it. Now, if it is equal to 6, which is full, it's an automatic state that will be signed when the storage slot is full. So to check if the robot is full, we do a branch equal to. The Q is equal to, I guess. I'm not entirely sure why it's Q, but that's how it is. So we want to do 6, because the current mode, which we load up here, will be 6. That means we're full. Now, where do we want to go to? We want to jump out of this loop from we have between 26 and 30. This is a loop, keep going, unless we have a 0 or a 6. Now we want to jump somewhere. We want to jump to robot will return. Robot will return home. We want to jump to here. Now, so we start here, we set this, and then we, instead of jumping back to start, we go down to the next one. So this is just a starting point, and we'll have the same here. Another kind of a section that we'll have to go through, and this will then set some things, and then we can continue. So first, load. Let's just copy these. Current position, and then robot position X. We're going to do these 2 more times. Set. This is not a correct way. That will have to move. That is not okay. It doesn't matter, but it's usually this way you put them. Then from now we can set our robot target X home push X, and we do the same thing here. Y and Y, set and set. So we load where we currently are into our holders, and then from our current home position, from our home positions, we'll load into our new target, so we can send it home. Then from here we'll set robot mode, robot mode to 2. There is a controversy here regarding this one. So 2 or 5 technically should do more or less the same thing. However, 5 is very buggy, so I tend to go around it, but sometimes you might want to try to change it. Anyway, I use 2, and then I go from there. Right, now that we have sent everything here, we have now started the will return, and now we are returning. So robot is returning. Yep, and then of course J returning. We're going to do the same thing here, load to So you can see a pattern here. We do a code, set something, we do a new code area, and then we set something. And that's basically how it is continuously handled. Now when branch is equal to 0, that means we have returned home. Then we will do another one down here, which is called robot has returned. And we set it up here. Now this one is again like we have here, which has a setting area, a starting area for the returning phase. So now that we has returned, we want to set the mode to 4. If you go in here, 4, unload and shoot. And of course this only works if there's shoot nearby, but the home position should be near shoot. So set robot mode 4, so it'll be unloading. And then now that we have set to unload, we will be robot. Let's move that one. Robot is unloading. Next thing, copy that again, and we take the same one. So when it is 0, we will leave. So robot will leave. And we take this one, come up here. So now that we have actually set our we have emptied our robot, we will start the process of returning back to the station. Back to the mining area. So set robot target X, and we take this one because that's what we were before. Just copy them again. So Y, Z, and Z. Now, the reason why we set these is because now we will return. So set robot mode 2 means that it will go to the target. Robot is leaving. Hey. Now we do another one. It's very repetitive, this code, but it seems to be working okay. So now that we'll copy this, when branch is equal to 0, then we'll say start. And that's it. Technically, if we load this into the robot right now, it would mine. However, none of this would work. That's not okay. So let's add some more stuff in here. We're gonna add a code down here that is slightly annoying. Well, not annoying, but this is the more complex one. Status handler. And we're going to do JR. Now, why do we do JR? Well, JR means it's a saving variable. So if you go up to any of these, let's say we take this one and we do YOL this one. That means that when we run this particular code, we jump to this status handler, and because we do JR, we jump back to here and we continue, and then we continue this loop. So we are reusing this particular code several times because it'll be everywhere we have a J, because we need to know where we are. Yeah, that's it for now. Now we want to do some pauses, so it doesn't happen so quick. I personally have used 2 yields, so one start, one at the bottom. That should be enough, but you might want to add more. Who knows? Now, first thing, so load temp, and then switch setting. Is that not how I spelled it? No, it's not. It's not. Now the temp we're using several times, especially here in the beginning, and that's because we have a code inside here, alarm on. Why do I have it here? It's because I can reuse. So we want to use something called set greater than 0. So we want to do come home temp. If the setting, which means that the switch is open, is more than 0, then it'll be 1, of course. Then the come home will be set high or true. When this happens, we want to set a few things, and we're going to be repeating quite a lot here. So first thing is we're going to do a move alarm code 1. This is for the off. Alarm code 0 is robot off. Pause. So now we know it's off. Next thing is we do status set status light. So set status light color 3. And the reason we do that is because if you go in here and color, you have the numbers here. So 3 is orange, and then we have red for 4. So those 2 are the ones we're going to use, and of course green. Now this is all fine and dandy. So we have moved to temp. We have if this one is true. No, sorry. If this one is 1, our come home becomes 1. It becomes 2. We will automatically also set alarm code for 1. Status light to 3. Now, what do we do now? We actually want to jump it. So, batch greater than 0. Alarm home. Come home. Alarm on. And that's because we are actually repeating this process we just done here. So again, we're gonna load, but this time load slot. Load slot. Charge ratio robot 0 charge ratio. How do I know it's 1? How do I know it's 0? Well, if you take the robot, hello there. If you look at this one, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so on. Ah, we're missing a chip. So that's why I know it's 0. Also, you can look it up on the Wikipedia. So we have loaded this charge. Next thing is we don't want to set. So set less than. Come home again. Come home. And then we will do the charge ratio. We'll go up and grab our minimum. Now here we don't use the temp, so technically this one didn't have to jump, but it's just I use this, so it's the same. The reason why we're using charge ratio is because we want to use it at different places as well, and that's actually what you just saw with the red robot. It cannot leave before it's a certain charge level. That should be avoided if you're not using a wireless battery, but we forget that for now. So now we're going to move alarm code. No, alarm code. This is the number 2. We want to set status light because the battery is a little bit more dangerous. Then I want to set it to 4, which is red. We want to set battery greater than 0. Alarm on. And that is just what we're going to repeat. So I'm going to do the other ones and then I will show what to do. So here they are. The different things that can interfere with our alarm code or the alarm on, to be correct. First thing is the station, the weather station in this case. Now the weather station, we want to load it to temp, then we do a set greater than 0, and if it's greater than 0, we do come home. Now the weather station has 3 modes: 0, 1, and 2. 1, storm incoming. 2, storm ongoing. So if it's 0, you can mine. If it's 1, you should come home. And if it's 2, well, you should be home already. So that's what that means. 3 is alarm code, 4 is the alarm. So that's referring to that one and that one. So that one. Next thing, or an area. If set is greater than equal to 0, then we'll come home, meaning that the area where we are mining is empty. That's not good. So we do a set status light to 4 and we do alarm code to 4. So we can see what is the alarm and how serious it is, because 4 is bad because it can't mine. Now the next thing is charge ratio. Set equal to 0. That means that we are out of power somewhere, and usually that's bad. Always, of course. So alarm code 5 and 4 for red, which is lost because we don't know where it is. So that is all the different alarms that we can have. It's not anything to do with these, but it's the alarms. And I add them in a big chunk like this, because otherwise we will potentially run out of space. Now, all these are basically trying to set the light at the same time. However, if none of them jumps down to the alarm, then what controls the light? Well, it will be a move here. So move, and then alarm code 0, and then we do a light 4, 2. If any of these alarms comes on, then we'll jump to this one. If none of them comes on, we will go past these 2 and activate the alarm code to 0, or well, we set the alarm code to 0, and we will set the status light to 2, which is green. So that is why we're doing. Now, next thing, we want to do some LEDs. And this is where we have a new code. We have a new fantastic little thing. Set batch name. This one is sexy. A lot of people have already spoken about them, but now I'm adding to my specific code here, and they're just, it's amazing. Literally amazing. First you take the LED. This. Now we want to type in hash, capital, hash, those curvy ones. Lovely, I can't remember what the name is. Now the first one we're going to do is green LED alarm. Now LED alarm will be the same for every single AIMEe you do, but the green will change, or you here, that's why I named it green. So this is supposed to be the same name as the LED. Then we do setting alarm code. Aha, there we are. So that easy. Now next one we want to do is power, and we want to do charge ratio. Yeah, copy it again. We want to do mode, current mode. They are the easy ones. So what we want to do now, we want to load temp robot position X. We want to do this twice, and here we're going to do Y and Y. We're going to grab this one, copy in here, change this one to temp, and we take this one to X. Now, the reason why we can do this is because we write it to here, we read it here, then we overwrite this one down here. That's why this works. It's a scan. That's how the scan works. So the next one we're going to do, oh, nice, is Y. And that's nice. Set. That's the positions. So they are in the house. Last thing is the vicinity. So set. Oh, we can actually do that up here, to be honest. Just do that here because it's the same type. Yeah. What did I call it? Okay, I can grab that. Pause. Yeah. And I want to get an area. There we are. Okay, so I wonder what happens if we do a charge now. Export. So you can see the robots. It's all error. We have an error. We have a red. We have a 4. No, empty. That's good. That's good. If we see the location, we see the position. Sorry, not the position. The charge. We see the mode. It's all good. But it's not working. That's because there's no chip in it. But it's good. It's decent. Before we continue with the robot, let's finish off the stuff inside. So we want to do, let's see up here. In our roaming, we want to load the current or in area. So load or in area from robot minor bubbles in vicinity. There we are. And this is when we are in the roaming mode, we'll load how many ore are in the area out where we are mining. Let's see here. Now we want to do we want to do our error. So down here, robot, stay home. And this is a repeating one. J up. And of course we want to load the status handler because we're repeating it all the time. So we want to set robot mode to 0 and France is equal to 0. When the come home is equal to 0, where do we have it? Come home is equal to 0. Then we will go to robot will leave. Because the way this works is if any of these happens, the robot will be forced to go home. So we go take this one. So where we have this in our roaming, we will do another one. So branch is greater than 0. Come home, and the robot will return home. Copy that, because we're going to use it a few times. What we're doing here is we set it to go home. So here we'll return home. We are returning. We has returned. We are unloading, and we will leave. Now this we don't want to do if we are come home. So when we have unloaded, we will set it to come home. We'll set it down to stay home. So this will take care of our little, issue about staying home. Now I want to ensure that when we leave, we will only leave when the robot is full of power. So here we're going to do a branch less than, and we do charge ratio. Charge ratio. We want to be sure that we are fully charged. So what we do here is we write, let's say 0.99 0. And robot will leave. So as long as charge ratio is less than this, we'll go here. If this is not less than this, we will go down to set mode to 2 and we continue to leave. That's lovely. That is lovely. And I guess that's it. So here we actually need to load. It's just a good practice. So when we start it, we just load the variables. It's not necessary, but I do it. Now let's remove that so we don't waste any space. We still have good lines left. But I think we are pretty much there. Let's export that. Everything is kind of in the correct place. There we are. That's better. So one thing we need is to have the home position. So if you take your tablet, your lovely tablet, turn it on, stand on the chute, close to the chute. You see that right there. So X1032. You'll have something else. And I will now add my number, and you can then, when you use this software, this program, you can add whatever you want. So a good tip is your Y position, always keep it at least 1. Or go 1 above what your tablet shows, otherwise it can give a bit of a dodgy on the robot. But apart from that, we are good to go. Now, of course, we need to have the chip inside the robot's head. That's an empty chip, so it needs to be in there. Now, in the next video, I will show what it can do, how it runs, and where it goes from here. Also, I will bug check a bit more on the software and see how it looks like. So until then, have a great and fantastic rest of your day. See you next time. Goodbye.